Do you hear that? That faint ticking sound in the background. That's not just time passing. That's the sound of a countdown that could change the WNBA forever. Because right now, the league is standing on the edge of a cliff. 24 hours. That's all that separates the WNBA from a potential catastrophe. A full-blown player strike that could cancel the entire 2026 season. And make no mistake, this isn't rumor. This isn't speculation. This is real. The players have drawn their line in the sand.
Do you hear it? If you listen very closely, you can hear it. It's the sound of the clock. It's the sound of the sand dropping in the hourglass as time rapidly runs out for the WNBA. The ladies have 24 hours to get this deal finalized. And if the deal's not finalized in 24 hours, WNBA players, they are taking the first step to canceling the 2026 season. You don't have to take my word for it.
If they don't get the deal they want, they walk. This isn't just about money. This is about power. For years, players have felt ignored, underpaid, underpromoted, forced to fight for the respect they believe they've earned. But this time, they're not whispering in locker rooms or tweeting in frustration. They're taking action. The tension between WNBA players and the league office, especially Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, has reached a boiling point. Behind closed doors, tempers are flaring, threats are flying, and neither side is willing to blink. And if they don't, it's over.
WNBA players are prepared to go on strike. WNBA players are prepared to cancel the season. They are not backing down. They are holding firm, which should not be a surprise to my audience because I've been telling you this for months. Hell, we started talking about this last year. WNBA players would use
the WNBA's 2026 season could vanish before it even begins. The players say they're ready. The league says they're not backing down. And the fans? We're stuck watching this ticking time bomb, wondering who's going to flinch first. Because if this strike actually happens, everything the WNBA has built, the momentum, the new stars, the Caitlin Clark effect, could crumble overnight. So grab your popcorn. This isn't just a contract dispute. This is the fight for the WNBA's future. This is her hoops. And if you love staying ahead of the drama, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we're diving into the full story.
Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the main channels in the description below. There is a reason that Kathy Engelbert and Adam Silver, there is a reason they are refusing to give WNBA players what they want, which is revenue sharing. If the WNBA gives in to these unreasonable demands, they potentially have no path to profitability. This is no longer just my opinion.
You don't want to miss what comes next. This didn't come out of nowhere. The warning signs have been flashing for months, maybe even years. It all started with a promise. When the WNBA and Commissioner Kathy Engelbert announced plans to elevate the league, fans and players were told a new era was coming. Better marketing, bigger contracts, more respect. But as the lights got brighter, the money didn't. Behind the smiles and highlight reels, frustration was brewing.
Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the main channels in the description below. There is a reason that Kathy Engelbert and Adam Silver, there is a reason they are refusing to give WNBA players what they want, which is revenue sharing. If the WNBA gives in to these unreasonable demands, they potentially have no path to profitability.
Players were tired of hearing about progress while still flying commercial, playing back-to-back games, and earning salaries that barely cracked six figures. And then came the big question, revenue sharing. That's where everything exploded. The players looked across the hall at the NBA, at the billion-dollar deals, at the 50-50 splits, at the franchises turning profits, and said, why not us? They weren't asking for charity. They were demanding partnership. But the league? They pushed back hard. Engelbert and her team argued that the WNBA wasn't profitable.
If I'm the NBA, I'm also looking at the hundreds of millions of dollars I have invested in this dump. I'm also looking at the fact that this charity disguised as a business has never given me a single peso in return on my investment. Why in the hell would I give players more money when they haven't given me a damn thing in return?
that giving away revenue shares would be financial suicide. To the players, that sounded like another excuse. To the league, it sounded like a death sentence. And then came the wild card, Unrivaled. A brand new player-run league, backed by major investors like TNT, promising creative control, guaranteed paychecks, and a chance to own their value. Stars like Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart started talking about it openly, about having leverage, about being done waiting for the WNBA to catch up. And that's when the league realized, this wasn't just noise anymore, this was a movement. So when the WNBA sat down to renegotiate the CBA, it wasn't a polite meeting, it was a showdown. The players want revenue sharing, the league wants survival, and the clock? It's running out fast. You can feel the tension every time someone from the players' union speaks. They're unified, they're serious, and for the first time in WNBA history, they might actually be willing to burn it all down to prove their point. But what exactly are they asking for? And how did we reach a place where a strike feels inevitable? We're breaking that down next. All right, let's break this all down, piece by piece, because this isn't just a case of players want more money. No, this is a high-stakes chess match between power, profit, and pride. Here's the setup. The players' union has 3 core demands on the table. 1, revenue sharing, a guaranteed percentage of the league's total income, just like the NBA. 2, improved travel and health standards, private flights, better facilities, and fair rest periods between games. 3, expanded media exposure and marketing support. They want real promotion, not token campaigns. From the players' perspective, this isn't just about luxury, it's about legitimacy. They believe that if the WNBA truly wants to be seen as a premier professional league, it needs to treat its players like premier professionals. But the WNBA front office, led by Kathy Engelbert and overseen by Adam Silver, sees things differently. They claim that granting these demands could cripple the league financially. They argue that the WNBA is still heavily subsidized by the NBA and that profit margins are razor thin. That's where the real battle lines are drawn. Because from the outside looking in, the WNBA appears to be thriving. Record-breaking viewership, sold-out arenas, the Caitlin Clark effect. And fans see all that and think, surely they can afford to pay the players more now. But behind the scenes, the numbers tell a harsher story. Operating costs have ballooned, sponsorship deals haven't caught up, and the league is terrified that if they agree to revenue sharing before profitability, it could sink the entire ship. That's why Engelbert's holding firm, and that's why players like Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart are furious. They believe the league is hiding behind excuses while benefiting from their rising popularity. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's most marketable star, has stayed silent, and that silence speaks volumes. Because if this strike happens, Clark could lose her biggest stage, and the WNBA could lose its brightest light. Right now, both sides are locked in a staring contest, neither blinking, neither bending. And every hour that passes, the 2026 season slips closer to the edge. But here's where things get even more complicated, because Unrivaled might be the key to this entire standoff, the players' secret weapon, or their biggest gamble yet. Beware of this strike. If the players overplay their hand, if Unrivaled flops, they'll lose all the leverage they fought for. And Kathy Engelbert knows it. That's why she's not blinking. She believes time is on her side. She believes that when the bills start piling up, when Unrivaled's checks stop clearing, the players will come crawling back to the WNBA table. But here's the twist. If Unrivaled somehow succeeds, even just a little, the entire balance of power in women's basketball could shift overnight. That's why this isn't just a labor fight. It's a war for control of the future. And the battlefield is getting bloodier by the day. But to understand how deep this really goes, you have to look beyond the boardrooms and contracts, and into the players themselves, their motives, their fears, their pride, and their willingness to risk it all. Let's strip away the press releases, the union statements, and the boardroom talk. Because beneath all of that, this fight is personal. Every player in the WNBA knows what's at stake here, not just for their careers, but for the league's identity. You've got Napheesa Collier, one of the most outspoken voices, carrying the torch for player empowerment. She's not just negotiating for more money, she's fighting to prove that the WNBA can't survive without the athletes who built it. Then there's Breanna Stewart, a two-time MVP, arguably one of the most respected players in the game. She's pushing for systemic change, maternity benefits, fair pay, equity across the board. For her, it's legacy. She's already cemented her place on the court. Now she wants to rewrite the rules off it. And hovering quietly in the background, Caitlin Clark. She hasn't taken sides publicly, not yet, but her silence is deafening. Because Caitlin represents something bigger than any single player: momentum. She's the league's golden ticket, the ratings spike, the sold-out arenas, the sponsorship magnet. Everyone knows it, and everyone's waiting to see if she'll use that influence to tip the scales. Privately, insiders say Clark doesn't want to jeopardize her rookie momentum or alienate her growing fan base by jumping into political waters. But make no mistake, if she speaks, she could change everything. The WNBA's power brokers know it. The union knows it. Even the investors circling Unrivaled know it. Right now, everyone's just holding their breath, waiting for one move from Caitlin that could send shockwaves through the entire sport. But there's another layer to all this: the players' fear. They've seen what happens when women's leagues collapse. They've seen what happens when investors walk away. They're fighting for fairness, but they also know that if they push too hard, they could destroy the very thing they're trying to fix. And that's the cruel paradox here. The same players who gave the WNBA life might be the ones to pull the plug on it, all in the name of saving it. It's pride versus pragmatism, legacy versus leverage. And somewhere in the middle, a young star from Iowa might hold the future in her hands. Because when this storm clears, one of two things will happen. Either the WNBA becomes stronger than ever, or we'll be left looking back, wondering if the league's greatest fight became its biggest mistake. If this strike actually happens, the shockwaves won't stop at the WNBA's doorstep. This isn't just a basketball issue anymore, it's a crossroads moment for women's sports as a whole. Because the WNBA isn't operating in a vacuum, it's part of a movement, a global conversation about pay equity, exposure, and opportunity. For years, fans and media have demanded that women's athletes be given the same respect and resources as men. But here's the catch: respect comes with responsibility and risk. If the 2026 season gets canceled, every headline will scream WNBA strike. Not WNBA empowerment, not progress, but strike. And the casual fans who just discovered the league because of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and this new wave of energy, they might walk away before they ever truly buy in. The timing couldn't be worse. Sponsors are finally paying attention. TV networks are finally giving primetime slots. The attendance numbers? Climbing higher than ever. But momentum is fragile, and the business world doesn't wait around for internal drama to settle. If the players strike, the league loses games. When the league loses games, it loses ratings. When it loses ratings, it loses money. And once that cycle starts, it's brutal to stop. Now imagine the headlines in that world. WNBA cancels season. Unrivaled struggles to launch. Investors pull funding. That's the nightmare scenario, the one everyone's pretending won't happen. But here's the truth. Both sides are gambling with the future of the league. The players are fighting for principle. The league is fighting for survival. And the fans? We're the ones caught in the middle, watching what could be the WNBA's biggest breakthrough or its biggest breakdown. Even the NBA, which has quietly funded the WNBA for decades, is watching closely. If the league folds under pressure, it's not just a financial loss. It's a massive blow to the entire vision of women's professional basketball in America. Because make no mistake, the WNBA isn't just a league anymore. It's a symbol of how far women's sports have come and how far they still have to go. So if the 2026 season vanishes, it won't just be a missed year. It'll be a message to fans, sponsors, and future players about what happens when passion collides with politics. And once that trust is broken, rebuilding it might take longer than anyone realizes. The clock is still ticking, the statements are still flying, And the WNBA, a league built on perseverance, passion, and progress, now stands on the edge of its most dangerous moment ever. What started as a call for fairness has turned into a battle for survival. On one side, you have the players demanding what they believe they've earned: a voice, a partnership, a piece of the pie they helped bake. On the other side, you have the league, clinging to the reality that without financial discipline, the entire operation could collapse. It's a tragic irony, really. The league that was once begging for attention has finally found it, but at the exact moment it's risking it all. If the strike happens, the 2026 season disappears. No Caitlin Clark, no Angel Reese, no Asia Wilson highlights lighting up social media. Just silence, empty arenas, lost momentum. And when the cameras go dark, that's when the real question will echo through every front office and every locker room. Was it worth it? Because yes, players deserve better. Yes, they've earned the right to fight for themselves. But the cost of that fight might be something no one can afford. The very league that gave them the stage to begin with. This moment, right here, right now, is going to define the WNBA's future. If cooler heads prevail, if both sides find a middle ground, the league could come out stronger than ever. United, profitable, respected. But if pride wins over progress, if stubbornness wins over strategy, the WNBA might never recover. And that's the part nobody wants to admit. Not the players, not the league, not even the fans. Because behind all the numbers, the politics, and the business talk, this sport still means something. To every little girl watching, to every fan who believed women's basketball could be more than just a dream, this league matters. So as the clock runs out, there's only one truth left to face. The WNBA doesn't just need a new deal, it needs a new vision. One that protects its players without destroying its promise. The next 24 hours could change everything. The question is, will they save the league? Or will they burn it down trying? This is Her Hoops, and if you're ready to see how this fight unfolds, make sure you like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below, because this story is just getting started.